In a galaxy far, far away, a band of galactic mystics united in collaboration. Pixie Dust Tarot, Mamina Divine Starseed, Tanya Pizzolato, Fairy Tales and Cocktails, Mystic Star Magic, Booduluv TV, Carmelexi, Celeste Simone Tarot, Kittens Waits and Tarot, Cosmic Empress 333, Trickrtreattarot. Come together to create. How will the Force guide you?
Hi, this is cherryenchantress with Pixie Dust Tarot, and I'm here with a collaborative reading for Star Wars Day on May 4th. So our subject is your spiritual path and how will the Force guide you. So it'll be a pick a card, you choose what card attracts you the most, and go from there, and then continue on to watch the other mystics' readings to see how they compare and what your spiritual path will be. I hope you enjoy. Just pick your card. And here are your cards. So we have Death for pile number 1, the Chariot for pile number 2, and the Hermit for pile number 3. And hidden behind each one of them is a card. And then we also have piles of cards to go with them. Plus, I'm so excited to show you that we have some Star Wars affirmation cards too, to get the final answer of your spiritual path and how the Force will guide you. So what's next on your spiritual path? Let's find out. Take a deep breath in, close your eyes, release your breath. Open your eyes and let them be drawn to the card that's calling you. Let's begin. All right, you chose pile number 1, and this is Death, and your hidden card is the Lovers, your hidden card. So Death is all about transformation, endings of things and beginnings of new things. It's a clean slate. It is sometimes having to say goodbye, having to part with things that might be familiar, but also starting on a new adventure. And it feels like the Lovers represents a collaboration, a union, choices, movement in a romantic or union kind of direction. So your path could have something to do with a partner of sorts. It could be a romantic partner, or it could be other kinds of partnerships. But generally, Lovers does indicate a romantic relationship here. Next, we have Mercury retrograde, reinvention. So May, there's going to be a Mercury retrograde, but during this time will be a great time to reinvent yourself, reconnect, revisit, reestablish, anything that starts with re. And that's the positive way of using Mercury retrograde. Also, when I'm going with how will the Force guide you, one of the biggest things about the Force is that you have to let go and let yourself be guided. And instead of micromanaging the universe, you have to surrender the how. So you're going to feel a little bit maybe in uncharted areas and a little bit unsure when it comes to retrograde, because everything was going in a certain direction before, and now the changes are coming through and taking a little backwards turn. So some of this has to do with reintegrating some things maybe that you missed the first time around. Let's see what else we can find out about this Mercury retrograde. It's nothing to really be scared of, but it isn't predictable. So You may not really know exactly. It's not like you can be prepared. And I know a lot of people are afraid of the unknown, but you have to take a deep breath and realize that spirit, that the force is guiding you, and that they won't lead you astray, that spirit won't lead you astray, the universe won't lead you astray. But you can help the situation along by making sure you cross your T's, dot your I's, be very careful about communication and writing things down. And when you make plans, don't be too fixed on certain outcomes, but allow an A, B, and C alternative. Before you argue or let yourself be triggered or jump to conclusion, take an extra step and breathe and count to 10. Things like that can be helpful during this time of month. And this is all part of how the force is guiding you. So now let's look at some tarot. We have the Cosmic Tarot, and you have Canis Vanadici. This is about partnerships and collaboration, shared vision. So in the midst of all what seems a little bit chaotic or a bit of a change from the usual, you're connecting with somebody who was very like-minded, and that's the part of the situation of the change that's going to feel really good. You still may have a little bit of triggered conversations here and there, but I feel like that's somehow, some way, that's not going to be a real problem during retrograde for you, because this partnership is coming out again here. Tool of creation, refinement, configuration. This is all about, and then we have Death card again. This is all about reinventing yourself, and as you do, there's a creativity. It's a little like Phoenix rising out of its ashes, a death of something else, but a reborn, more lush and luxurious than ever before. I feel in Disney, the death can be represented quite strongly from the Fantasia episode with the fairy. I don't know, Fantasia 2000, with the fairy and the stag, and she meets the volcano, and the volcano spews lava and everything burns down, but then out of the ashes comes a new land. And so something like that's going to be happening. It may not be quite as dramatic, but but you and the fairy and the stag will get together and create this newness, this wonderment. Next we have Wormhole, which is part of the Cosmic Tarot / Oracle. This is a really amazing deck full of constellations, and the wormhole is a really cool depiction of this lady who has kind of a connection through sort of like this wire or this thread, like this silver thread. I see twin flames and lovers connected like the red thread, and this wormhole is a passage through space and time, linking two sectors of space, but somewhat shortcut of a shortcut. You know, it's passing, it's making it happen faster. And this concept conjures sometimes escape, but it also, or a secret passage, but it leads to like amazing hidden place. So it's definitely romantic. It's about serendipity and chance encounters and unusual circumstances that sort of will propel you. Like propelling is kind of like being pushed forward, and you don't know what this force is that's pushing you forward, right? It's also a pull, which is like a magnet, which is like a tractor beam that's pulling you into something. So these are what the forces that are going to be happening for you. This propelling, this moving forward, and you don't know why. It's almost like having the wind at your back. Things are just steering you in this direction, and it's because it's like serendipity. Okay, so now let's see what your inspiration card has to say. I'm just the song I'm singing in my head. You're the meaning in my life. This is definitely not a Star Wars song. Let's see what we got. Oh, you can't. Oh, this is perfect. You can't stop change any more than you can stop the suns from setting, Annie. Change is a natural part of life that cannot be avoided. It's what helps you learn and grow. So no avoiding it, no avoiding it. So let's see what our Yoda has to say. This is our little Yoda 8-ball. All right, and sometimes it's not easy to read, but let me see what I got. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. It says, yes, it is so. Okay, let me see you now. Yes, it is so. There, can you see it? Oh my gosh, let's see if we can get in on it. There we go. Yes, it is so. All right, and I'm not going to do any charms, but I will do a few letters. Let's see what the letters have to say. So we have A, T, W, M, G, Q. Q is always coming out. Qui-Gon Jinn. It almost looks a mat, a what, without the, let's see, a couple more. Another M, a J, K, like joking, F, like an if and it's. Okay, if you see somebody's initials, that could be a big sign for you. If not, don't take it as a no, because Yoda already said, yes, it is so. All right, I'm going to move on to number 2. See you there. And pile number 2. If you came over from pile 1, thank you. I didn't mean to say, come on, watch the whole thing, but you definitely can. Like, these readings are definitely so inspirational that you can get a message from each pile, and there's no wrong choice here. Anyway, so the Chariot is all about travel and action and adventure and making decisions that are on point, on the right track. So this is very much like like when the Force comes through and Obi-Wan Kenobi is telling Luke Skywalker that he doesn't need his goggles, he doesn't need his hearing, he needs to just use his faith, and he's almost manning the ship all by himself with just pure energy, pure force. So I feel something like that's going to help lead you and guide you. You'll be one step ahead. The Force is about knowing what's going to come before it actually arrives, one step ahead, just ready to and prepared for it. So that's a really good feeling, especially when you're going into the unknown. So let's see what the companion card is. And you have the Droid of Swords. So one of the most important aspects of this situation, this pile and this message, I think I was about to say contingency. Yes. The contingency here, the contingency plan about what direction you go in will have to do with truth, with being completely authentic in your truth and in your beliefs. And in this scene in particular, it's really cool because R2-D2 is such a good team player. And he's also, they have a plan in place, but he's also very... he doesn't have the Jedi skills of knowing what will come next, but he has a droid skill of just anticipating, of just being ready and able. And that's kind of what you will be going through, this feeling of, especially I hear a lot of you, this is dealing with work situations. So I feel like bosses and people that you work for, co-workers too, will be real impressed and admired about how you anticipate, say, your boss's needs or the company's needs or what needs to be done next. You're not slow and sluggish. You quickly react and you jump in and you kind of save the day most of the time. So that is how the Force guides you. You're the kind of person that comes through. You're not robotic, even though we have an android here. R2 was almost human in his mannerisms and almost in a kind of compassion, you know? And so sometimes people can look sort of matter of fact and practical and no nonsense on the outside. Let's get the job done. But truly on the inside, they have a lot of thought put into the process, and they have a lot of care for the team that they work with. All right, so your Moonology card is Truth, the Saturn card. Now, sometimes people get a little leery of Saturn, but Saturn is actually not a bad card. It just means work, you know, it just means hard work. It's a little bit heavy because work, it can be a little bit heavy, a little tedious, a little cumbersome, sometimes things take a long time to develop. It's not like luck or chance or a fluke where things just happen. It's a lot of effort to make something happen. But this is saying the rewards will come. Saturn's all about karma, but it's not just about bad karma. It's about karmic rewards. So I feel that your karmic rewards are coming through in a sort of ability to be honest and be true to yourself, speaking up for yourself, and also speaking up for the general truth of a situation. So sometimes you might feel restricted, you may be felt held back, you may feel penalized, but when this card comes out in this kind of setting, I feel that represents more of a reward happening, because Saturn's not only about penalties, it's also about rewards after a lot of hard work. And this is all about the Force guiding you, and what will the Force bring to you, and what's your spiritual path. So here's a few things. Okay, so now let's see. We've got the Cosmos Tarot. And we have Ursa Minor, Identity, Essential Nature Awareness, and Horologium, Time, Milestones, and Progression. This is a little bit like serendipity, very similar to Pile 1 had sort of a serendipitous feeling, but I feel similar energy as far as time is working on your side. It's not necessarily about being propelled or magnetized, but it is about your identity, your awareness, your presence. You're not holding on to outcomes, but you're just being the best you that you can be. And that's definitely essential in this situation of what your path will be and how will the Force guide you. So let's dive in a little bit deeper. Ursa Minor is under the air category, so this is definitely like swords, a mental situation, like being in touch with I feel a bit of earthy qualities and a bit of intuition and anticipation, just natural instinct, knowing what to do next, and also just plain intellect. And so yeah, you have an essential nature about you, an awareness. And the Ursa Minor is also known as the little bear, and it's near Ursa Major, the Great Bear. And this is talking about the true nature that might be hidden beneath an outward appearance, and not judging a book by its cover. And so those are some things that will be changing for you. People will not be judging you that way, but also things that you'll be doing for other people as well. So the horoglium is a celestial clock. So it's about specific moments and how certain moments in time, it's like presence, right? Really holding on to a certain moment in time and enjoying it to the fullest. You're dealing with time in a little bit different way than pile one, where it's not, it may be a little bit serendipitous, but it's also a little bit of the past, present, future. Right in that moment, there's beautiful moments for you. So there's going to be a lot more presence in your life. Next we have Pulsar. This is from the same tarot, but it's a combo tarot and oracle deck, which is really awesome, this Cosmos one. And it has all these constellation with the beautiful gilded lines throughout. Pulsar is about comfort, stability, and regularity. So nothing to worry about here. I feel the force is guiding you in the right direction. You're moving along nicely, being true and authentic to yourself. And all of that is just going to bring more of the familiar and more accolades. I mean, more of the familiar and more unfamiliar as far as getting leveled up and promotions and things like that. I think that you feel like you deserve it for sure. And what you think you're going to get, you're going to receive. What you feel you deserve, you will receive. I just see more of that happening. There's just a mechanical precision about everything. And this is like electromagnetic radiation. And it's the lighthouse of the universe. And it rotates and it pulsates as it rotates. So it's kind of like a heartbeat out in space. And it's a manifesting type instrument. It's funny because in my charms, when the Eiffel Tower comes out, now I call it the satellite that, well, it's the transmitter tower that's sending signals to the satellite. And in a sense, it could be sending signals out to this kind of pulsar thing that detects your wishes and desires and then sends them straight back to you, whatever you wish for. So it's really beautiful, with like wish come true card and a very cosmic explanation of that. So now let's see what your inspiration's like. I don't know if I showed you. I think I did. But look at this, we have Star Wars affirmation cards. So this is really cool. Let's see what affirmation you're going to get for yourself. This is inspiration deck. This is the suit of inspiration. And there's different suits hanging around. There's my record, my 45 from when I was a kid. The Stenborgs. The Stenborgs Empire Strikes Back. My favorite movie. Let's see what you get. Let's see what this one is. Okay, this is exactly what I was talking about. Well, this is a little bit different scene, but exactly the same message, okay? The scene I was talking about was more about, he had already had this lesson, and he was in the battle trying to shoot the Death Star, and Obi-Wan comes in. Here, Obi-Wan Kenobi's alive and giving him his first lesson on how to use the Force. So, this is perfect. Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. There may be ways to interpret a situation. Look at it from all angles before you draw a conclusion. See, and then we also had the don't judge a book by its cover. So that's for you too, not just for others. I feel like a mix of both. You know, people aren't going to draw conclusions from you and you're not going to from them. All right, let's see now what your Yoda fortune has to say. The Yoda 8-ball. You have, this is a little bit hard for me, so give me a moment. All right, this one is uncertain it is. So uncertain it is. Hopefully, I don't know if you can read that. Uncertain it is. There it is. See that? Okay. So don't be too worried because there's some things that are not meant to be known right away. And I feel like maybe you had a question that you asked and Spirit saying, just trust in the Force to guide you in the direction, and your eyes can deceive you. And sometimes that's why why the word uncertain comes in, because you're trying to put too much value sometimes on what you see. It's not seeing is believing, but believing is seeing. And that's exactly what Luke had to go through. All right, so before we move on, let's just do some letters. See if we get any good letters for you. Well, you got a bunch. So we have C, G, Q, A, U, X, like auxiliary, Y, X, again, I, and an O, and a V, and a B. All right, so you might see somebody's initials. You could see a word that is significant to you. This is yours to use. I always see GQ, which to me represents a nice, glow up, looking handsome. Vin, yin. All right, that's up for you to decide. Take a screenshot if you like. Okay, guys, I hope you like that, and I'm going to move on to pile number 3. Okay, pile number 3, your cards are the Hermit and the Hanged Man. So how will the Force guide you? To me, it has to do with telepathy. Definitely mental telepathy is going to be so strong. In this picture, it's the Hanged Man, but in this part of the movie, he's calling upon anyone who can hear him through his mind, and who his strength and belief in his abilities haven't grown completely yet, but for somehow the distance between him and his sister, spoiler alert, he could feel that energy, and so he's about to fall down and die, but he telepathically calls upon his sister, and the sister comes, Princess Leia, by the way, comes and saves the day, saves him from falling down. And so I feel like the Hanged Man is about enlightenment. It's sometimes considered like a punishment card, and in a way, it looks sort of uncomfortable. And it's definitely outside the box, and it's seeing from a different point of view, and it's in a point of view that may feel uncomfortable. You may have to contort yourself to actually see the point of view that you're supposed to be looking for. But this one is really cool because it just like the other ones, the enlightenment comes to the mind, and so that's where he's finally opening up that crown chakra and the third eye, and feeling that energy of his connectedness with others. Now, Yoda is an old pro at it, of course, and Yoda represents the Hermit. This is also this, so I feel this could be like master-student energy with somebody, or you being a student and turning into the master, or you being the master now and remembering your origins, helping others travel this road, or travel this universe, the skies, space, bridge this gap of how do you go from just having senses and having like deja vu to full on telepathy and really speaking with somebody at a distance. So Yoda does that very well. He can read people's minds. He hears everything. He's not bogged down by the enormity of it or the strength or power of it. He's not intimidated by it. Now he's at this age, whatever 100 years old he is, he's very used to it, and he's very calm in it. And the Hermit, but yet, even the Hermit needs their time alone, because so many outside energies can be very imposing and demanding, and so the Hermit needs time alone. So you might need some time alone, just to meditate, just to retreat, just to find yourself, maybe to do these kinds of exercises where you strengthen your psychic intuition. So that could be something coming up for you. And that could be how, so I feel like pile 2 had sort of a career feeling, and I feel like you have kind of an education turn on yours. And pile 1 was a love connection. We've got career connection, and now we have a teacher-student situation. So that's pretty cool. I didn't expect that. All right, and so you also have Mercury, the mind. This is from the Black Moon Astrological Oracle. And so Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, and it's all about the mind. And there's so many ways to use the mind. You can use it intellectually and with books and intuition, and you can use it even, I mean, the mind is a powerful thing that can be very expansive, and you could travel astrally with your mind. You could do so many things with your mind. I feel we've heard this before. We only use a very small percentage of our mind. Something that would be really interesting for you to watch if you've never watched it is the movie about Limitless. Like, even if it's a fictitious movie, just watching it and thinking about that concept of your mind being limitless and not only being able to use, like, I don't know, 8 to 10% of it, but being able to use all of your mind and do everything that your mind can do. So just realize that, you know, don't be hard on yourself if you haven't grown in a certain amount or rate or expanded in a certain way. Just know that none of us have learned very much how to use the expanse of our minds through regular schooling. But this is about you taking it a step further and different kind of schooling so that you can expand your mind. So whatever you want to do, there's all kinds of things out there. There's a lot of things through meditation that can help expand your mind. There's classes on psychic intelligence. So those are things there. But also Mercury has maybe shadow side. So realize when you travel these roads, things could pop up, you know. Mercury is a trickster type energy, so sometimes things that you believe could be education and truth and knowledge could be some outside forces or something that's not actually true, because at this, as some energy out there is pure and good like Yoda, there's other energy out there that wants to fool and trick and tease and confuse. But in a general sense, it's a really good card. It's like the Magician, and it's about manifesting as well, and traveling, and the speed of things, and being very adept, and being good with arguments, and maybe a little bit of sarcasm, a little bit good with debate, and all of these things are really good. Now, a little caveat is that we're going into Mercury retrograde. So if you want to learn any more about Mercury retrograde, check out pile number 1. There's a little bit of a dabble on that. But you may run into some trickster energy during Mercury retrograde. You may feel certain going into Mercury retrograde, and then everything you felt certain about may kind of shift or be a little confusing. And it really does happen with the mind, and especially Mercury ruled people. So just keep that in mind. Keep a caution when that happens. Use the Mercury retrograde for different kinds of work, you know, a peaceful hermit kind of energy, and that would be probably the best bet for you during Mercury retrograde. Instead of trying to push a certain agenda, let it come to you naturally, like downloads into your crown chakra from spirit. Okay, so next we have 2 cosmic tarot cards. And you have Columba, message of peace, hope, and optimism. And Bella, faith, guidance, and outside force. Okay, interesting, because, and this kind of makes me think of Ulysses and the Odyssey, and adventurers and travelers, and people who not only just travel by their feet and boats and cars, but also travel through their minds. The adventurer in people. But there's also treacherous Rodger in all travels, even when it's through the mind. You could go places that could be hard, hard to come back. So you have to remember to do special rituals where you have have your body stable. It's almost a little reminds me of Avatar, actually. You know what? The person's laying there in his safe bed or whatever, and then his soul goes into the avatar, and the avatar gets to move around. It's going to be something like that can happen to you, but you have to protect that body that you've left behind, and that's important too. Anyway, so I know that sounds a little far out there, but I feel like some kind of interesting travel will be happening, whether it's physical or spiritual travel, something like that. But you are part of a greater, like, new hope. You are the hope. You're connecting with others, like-minded souls and beings like you, and as your telepathy grows, you're going to connect more and more with them, and together you're part of this bigger network of souls who are meant to do good things here, and I shouldn't say defeat, but dispel those tricksters, and or keep them in their place just for comic relief, but not to confuse and to make important decisions or matters worse in serious times, right? There's a time and a place for fun and laughter and jokes and things like that, but to me, there are also some things that shouldn't be joked around, that should have sort of it's like a sacred quality about them, Sometimes the jokes and tricks can be sort of sacrilegious, so to speak, even if you don't see it as religion, but contrary to the moment, right? It's not fitting for the moment. So anyway, that's just kind of a side note, but let's look a little bit more about Columba. So Columba actually comes from Noah's Ark, and it's a symbol of peace and tranquility, and the dove represents that in many cultures, and it represents good news also. And there's going to be some good news coming to you through some kind of message, some kind of correspondence. It could have something to do with your education or school or somebody that you're expecting maybe, or word of mouth, or it could also have to do with your reputation and your honor. But there's 3 cosmic stars, and they each represent a significant role. They're all part of this, like I was saying, this passivism, this collaboration, kind of like what I'm a part of, a collaboration. And hello to my mystic kindred sisters out there if you're watching. So good to collaborate with you. I feel for a lot of the community, especially the collaborators, there's going to be quite a leveling up for all of us. And then a lot of people who are watching who are also dabbling in this whole genre, also you're going to be leveling up very soon too. Let's see what the Vela is about. Vela is the Hanged Man, all right? And it's about faith. So yeah, I'm not too crazy. I love this deck. It's so beautiful, but I'm not too crazy about how they the Major Arcana, how they delegated the different cards and symbols to mean, what they mean. So, like for instance, Vela is fine, but sometimes they'll have like you know, Taurus means, well, Taurus means the Hierophant, that's right. But they have Leo for the Emperor, which we do not look at that way for sure. And the Hanged Man came out again. So I'm like, I'm a little surprised by that too, because I did not make that happen. And this one I feel a little bit has to do with being a good navigator also. A little bit that I felt a little of that in pile number 2, but it's very important in this one too. Dealing with weather of all types, right? And weather symbolically as well. So yeah, it depicts Jason and the Argonauts, and that's one of the stories that I like. But Jason and the Argonauts matches Ulysses' story as well, and it's a journey through the waters, has sort of a tower energy because it's very choppy and there's, you know, kind of this unknown and this feeling like things are going to crash down before they can be rebuilt again. But I feel like whoever's watching is the force that you feel, this guidance that you're going to get is helping you traverse these difficult waters smoothly without any problem at all. And knowing the right time to move and having that mindfulness, having the psychic intuition, just knowing just when to make your different moves. So in pile 2, there was the force where it was almost as if they could see it right the moment before it happened, like right immediately before it happens, and so they're completely prepared. This one I feel a little bit more of the novice, except that you have all the power. It's just it's more of trusting in the messages that are coming to you. And I feel like this might be a little bit more clear audience. A little bit of clear audience is going to be heightened here, whereas pile 2 was a little bit more of the clear cognizance energy and probably clear sentience, just the knowing, you know, that peaceful knowing. But I feel as far as Yoda is concerned in the Hermit, you're going to achieve the maximum in all your clairs. But I feel like right now your next step will be doing a little bit more work in the clear cognizance area, in clear audience area, because look, hearing things, you know, the telepathy. All right, so what is this goes with the Cosmic Tarot, and it comes with the Oracle too, isn't that so pretty? And you have, look how beautiful, you have the Sun. So the Sun, of course, in any deck, whatever it is, across the board, whether it's tarot, oracle, Lenormand, anything, always a positive card. It always shines clarity and brilliance and brightness and a rebirth and illumination and visualization. You see the third eye is expanded, the crown chakra is glowing, she's traveling without problems, she's rising above those monsters instead of having to navigate. So this to me truly represents the conquering of all of the fears that were in place before and really achieving that higher highs of knowing, of all your clairs being like in total alignment. That's really cool. So let's see what your inspiration card says. Let's see. Okay, what do we got? Ooh. Let's do this one. Okay, let's do this one. This one's good. Luminous beings we are. It doesn't matter what we look like on the outside. We are all capable of extraordinary things. See there? Yoda's telling you to have confidence in yourself, because this is just, in this scene, he talks about, you know, he's poking Luke with the stick. He's like, what is this? You just meat, you know, this is flesh, this is nothing. What is that? That's nothing. It's this, you know, it's what's right here, you know, all of that. It's really where your true power lies. And so who cares about all that other stuff, you know? So yeah, don't be too, it's certainly good to keep up with your physical health as well, but don't be so bogged down about physical appearances. Keep working on that inner stuff. All right, let's see what Yoda wants to say. This one can be a little bit challenging. I'm gonna zoom in. Oh my god, this is so perfect. This is a perfect way to end this reading. Guess what it says? Use the force. You see it? Use the force. There you go. Wow. I'm not even kidding. Isn't that cute? So let's do one more little thing and get you some letters, and then we'll be done with this amazing reading. I was so excited to do this. I'm such a Star Wars fan. And I was like, I'm gonna do it up really big this time, as you can tell. All right, so let's see what we got. Here we go. We have mace. The camp. Ooh, I feel like, you know what? We need to go on a camping trip. Some of us mystics out there, we need to get together and do some spiritual retreat like Yoda. Do a group retreat. That would be really cool. But yeah, so this could be anything, letters, initials, words, whatever you see, go ahead and go with it. But if it doesn't mean anything to you, it's okay. It doesn't mean that it negates the reading at all. Anyway, Yoda was right. He said, use the force, and may the force be with you. And have a lovely rest of your day and rest of your May. And I will be doing more readings that you will like coming up soon. So check out my channel if you're visiting. Hello. And if you are my regulars, go check out my kindred's channels too and see how they match up. All right, well, I'll see you there because I like to go watch theirs too. So I hope you enjoyed that. Faith, trust, and pixie dust.